Welcome back to Axis and Allies, the anniversary edition. Oh my god, I do have a correction to make from a while ago, way over by Spain, when we had the Germans attacking the UK fleet. It was not a destroyer and a transport, it was a destroyer and a cruiser. I'm just going to let it slide and Germany's already had such bad luck. I'm not going to worry about it. Just to let you know, though, that was a mistake. Transports have these little spiky tops on them, and cruisers look like this. And I don't know how they got a little bit of spiky top too, but they do look different. I got it mixed up. I apologize. But anyway, just to let you know, not going to be a huge... It's going to make a huge difference. Of course, it messed things up a little bit. All right, let's continue on. We are doing Italy this time, which is a kind of a minor power here, but I like how it splits up Germany and all the other games I know of, except maybe the 1940 version where you put the two together. You don't have Italy. It's just Germany is just all of this. But I kind of like this. We've got Italy. They got a huge fleet, which I think they really did at World War II, although I think it got landlocked and sunk or something. I don't remember all the details. But they did have a pretty comprehensive fleet at the time. So we have a battleship, a couple cruisers, and a transport there. That's pretty significant. So let's figure out what we're doing. Now, they only have 10 IPCs to start with, and their factory here in Italy, they can put down 6. It's worth 6 IPC, but they don't have enough to build 6 of anything. So let's figure out what they're going to build. Like I said, they have 10 IPCs. So let's get down to the build zone and figure out what they're going to build for their turn. Alright, well, Italy does not have a lot of purchase power, but we're going to get for them 2 infantry as 6 and an artillery costing 4. They seem to be needing to help the Germans out, so to have the combination artillery and infantry, giving them the infantry the ability to roll 2 on attack instead of 1, I think might help Italy out a bit. Alright, well, let's get to the board. They are kind of confined to Italy, so let's figure out what they want to do on their turn with their combat moves. Alright, well, they have lots of offshore bombardment capability, and I'm wondering if Germany failed so horribly taking Egypt that I wonder if Italy can do it. They have 1 transport, and yes, they could probably take a tank and an infantry. They could take an artillery and infantry. They have a plane. But we do have to liberate France back for Germany as well. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to take the 1 tank is going to move in here into France. The 1, can they get... No, they can't get to Italy. I was just seeing if Britain can come around here and sneak into Italy, but they can't. So it's going to be... we're going to take 1 infantry and the 2 tanks. So this one's going to go 1, 2. So 2 tanks and an infantry hopefully can reclaim this again. And then they're going to use their transport. They're going to move to Sea Zone 15. And they are going to move the entire fleet in here. That's going to give them an absolute mass of offshore bombardment. They will then take 1 infantry and 1 artillery and come in here to Egypt. And do we need anything? Yeah, and they're going to bring the plane as well. So it's going to be 1, 2. So the plane is also on the attack there. And I think we are going to leave the 2 here. Or do we want to take 1 in? Yeah, I think we're going to take 1 infantry in from Libya. And that's it. So, okay, I think that's it for combat moves, which are quite a bit, actually. So that's good. Let's see how Italy can do. Let's see how horrible my dice rolling is going to be. Let's start over in France. It's pretty important that we liberate that for Italy back to Germany so they don't lose those IPCs. Alright, it's dice tray time, and we're going to be going ahead. They have 1 infantry hitting on a 1, so let's see how the Italian infantry does. Wow! The infantry takes out the tank. Well, okay, we don't need to roll the tanks, but we will anyway. 3 each on the tank, so that's 2 hits. Not bad. So the British are out of here. They do get a retaliation, though. They hit on a 3, the tanks, and they don't get anything. So the Italians just come right in there, kick the British right off and liberate France back to the German forces. So there we go. So that's going to be 6 down for the UK. So the UK is going to go from 42 to down to 36, and Germany is going to bounce back from 27 up to 33. There we go. That balances things out a little bit better. All right, way to go, Italy. Okay, they do have another huge battle here now for Egypt. All right, it's attack time for the Italians right here in Egypt. So that fits in there nicely, and we have 1 infantry that's all by itself. So we're going to be rolling 1 die. The infantry, it does not hit. They need to hit on a 1. Then we have an artillery and infantry. So I guess I'm doing this kind of out of order. Artillery infantry is hits on a 2, so we'll do them. We should be doing the offshore bombardment. Wow, nothing there. So in typical fashion, the Italians there in Egypt were pretty bad, or in Africa. The plane hits on a 3. Okay, they got 1 hit. And the offshore bombardment, we've got 2 cruisers and a battleship. The cruisers hit on a 3. They get 1 offshore bombardment. So 3s, a 2 and a 5 for the cruisers. So that's going to be 2 hits. We just need 1 more to wipe out. The battleship hits on a 4. No! Are you kidding me? All right, well, that was the offshore bombardment. Plus all the attacks. Only 2 hits. So there's a British tank, artillery, and a fighter squadron there. All right, time for the British to defend. So the artillery defends at a 2. Does not fire back. The tank defends at a 3. The tank does hit, and the airplane fighter unit at a 4. And so it's 2 for 2. 2 hits for 2 hits. Okay, the British will lose the tank and the artillery, and the Italians will go ahead and lose the 2 infantry, which a good thing they had them in there. They're going to press the attack, though, because there's only 1 fighter plane there, which could be pretty bad. No more offshore bombardment. All right, Italy's coming in. Their artillery unit hits on a 2. Nothing, and the air power hits on a 3, and the air power hits it. So Italian Air Force has taken down the British Air Force, but of course British Air Force has retaliation on a 4. And yeah, so it's a hit for a hit. That was extremely costly. The Italians are going to lose their plane, and so are the British. That seems brutal, but we want the Italians to actually capture that space, and so they did. They managed to take out or take over Egypt. Wow! So it's going to be 2 IPCs up for Italy. So they're going to go from 10 up to 12, which is nice. The UK drops down from 36 down to 34. So the UK taking a bit of a pounding there. Didn't really want to lose the Italian Air Force, but it is what it is. And now it is non-combat moves for Italy. Or, yeah, for Italy. What do we want to do? I think we're going to take... Oh boy, we really need to... You know, we're going to take Italy. We're going to move it from the Balkans. They're going to move the 1 unit to Italy and the 1 in Libya. What do we want to do with that? Or does that leave the bomb or 2 exposed? 1, 2, 3, 4... yeah, that leaves the bomb or 2 exposed. We're just going to have to leave it as is. That's pretty bad. But anyway, that's what we're doing. And now it's time to place our newly constructed units down in Italy. Alright, well, Italy's going to put down their 2 infantry units here and their 1 artillery that they built. And they're going to collect 12 IPCs. So that's pumps them up a little bit better. They're offshore. Man, that battleship should have hit anyway. It didn't. So they're going to collect 12 IPCs. That's going to be for their next turn. I know it was a very short episode, but I do want to do just 1 country a turn. When we come back tomorrow, we're going to be doing the US, and their turn will probably be somewhat quick, but there's lots of stuff they're going to be doing, so it's probably going to take a while. Alright, we're going to zoom out. We're going to wrap up our episode for today. All right, well, that's going to wrap up Italy's turn. I think they did an absolutely, a pretty darn good job, actually, taking Egypt. It cost them, though. It cost them a lot. It cost them pretty much everything they have. Now, they do have France sitting here. They got a couple of tanks in there now and 1 infantry helping out the Germans. But as you can see, the Russians have an awful pile. The Germans have a bunch of tanks. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. My dice rolling is extremely unpredictable. So who knows. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for your comments, subscriptions, likes. I'm just trying to showcase here this game. Axis Now is the anniversary edition. Really extremely well done version. Try not to make mistakes. Of course I do. So it is what it is. When we come back tomorrow, the U.S. And the U.S. controls China. But they're separate. You can either do China first and then the U.S. or you can do U.S. and then China. And very briefly, how China works is you count up the number of spaces that they control, which is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, divide it by 3, and that's how many infantry units they get to place on the board. So as you can see, the Japanese did just enough damage that the Chinese troops are only going to get 1 infantry and not 2. So that's going to hurt them pretty bad. But that's Japan. So thanks so much. I really appreciate it. It helps with my channel when you watch along. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what the U.S. can do after the Japanese basically demolished their fleet in the Pacific. All right, thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow.